Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to AM News on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Jumai Manson. Now, a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Now the news info. All Progressive Congress stakeholders from Kano State rose from a one-day crucial meeting with a resolve to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's second-term bid. The stakeholders who held the meeting in Abuja said the meeting is to assess the state of the party and to strategize on positioning themselves for victory in the 2027 general elections. Global Television political correspondent Ubong Usoro reports.
The APC stakeholders meeting had in attendance the who is who of APC in Kano State. Former governor of Kano State, former national chairman of the APC, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, led the deliberations along the Deputy Senate President, Senator Baru Jibrin, and Kano State chairman of the party, Abdullahi Abbas. Also present were serving and former members of the National Assembly, commissioners, local government chairmen, and other influential leaders of the party from Kano State. In his remarks, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje commended the unity within the party in Kano and reassured President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the state's unwavering support for his administration. He praised the president's achievements so far, particularly in infrastructure, agriculture, and economic reforms, noting that Kano people have continued to feel the impact of his leadership.
Critical stakeholders of APC of Kano State, we are here and we examine the progress, the successes that we have achieved in our great party in Kano State. We are also here in order to assure Mr. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that our party in Kano State, we are solidly behind him.
The Deputy Senate President, Senator Baru Jibril, described the meeting as timely, stressing that the APC in Kano remains strong and committed despite the outcomes of the last elections. He expressed optimism that with the renewed strategy and stakeholders' engagement, the party will reclaim its dominance in the state.
The President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has done very well for our state and indeed the entire nation. We encountered several projects that are being implemented. Others are ongoing in our state and indeed the entire northern part of this country.
The Kano State chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Abbas, in his remark, emphasized the importance of unity and active engagement of all party members at the grassroots level. He outlined plans to intensify membership drives, strengthen local structures, and ensure that every ward in the state is fully mobilized ahead of the 2027 elections.
Key points highlighted are two: strengthening party internal unity and discipline, and enhancing grassroots mobilization.
Resolution reached at the meeting included strengthening grassroots mobilization, reconciling aggrieved members, and intensifying membership drives across all 44 local government areas of Kano State. The stakeholders unanimously resolved to stand firmly behind President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and ensure overwhelming support for his administration. The meeting ended with a vote of thanks and a renewed pledge of loyalty to APC both at the state and national levels. Ubong Usoro for Global Television.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has enumerated steps to strengthen peace, development, and human rights across the globe. Speaking at the general debate of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, the Vice President says to achieve peace and development, Nigeria must have a permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council. Mukhtar Kasim tells us more.
Speaking at the general debate of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, Vice President Shettima stated that there is need for urgent action to promote sovereign debt relief and access to trade and financing. He added that countries that host minerals must benefit from those minerals.
Nigeria must have a permanent seat at the UN Security Council. This should take place. This should take place as part of a wider process of institutional reform. 2, we need urgent action to promote sovereign debt relief and access to trade and financing. 3, countries that host minerals must benefit from those minerals. And 4th, the digital divide must close.
The Vice President also linked the call for the reforms to broader economic and social concerns, urging urgent action on sovereign debt relief, fair access to trade and finance, and leveraging Africa's strategic resources to drive sustainable development.
A bold step to reform the wider United Nations system for greater relevance, efficiency, and effectiveness in the face of unprecedented financial strain. We support the drive to rationalize structures and end the duplication of responsibilities and programs so that this institution may speak with one voice and act with greater coherence.
With Nigeria's renewed push for a permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council, Vice President Shettima says the time has come for Africa's voice to be fully heard in shaping global peace, security, and development. Mukhtar Kasim, reporting for Global Television News.
Thank you, Mukhtar, for that report. Now, the federal government has announced Nigeria at 65, all hands on deck for a greater nation as the theme for the 2025 Independence Day celebrations. Officials say the theme reflects Nigeria's resilience since 1960, while urging unity, patriotism, and collaboration among citizens, institutions, and stakeholders to build peace and prosperity under the renewed hope agenda. Events marking the celebration include a Jumat prayer on September 26th, a church service on September 28th, and a World Press Conference on September 29th in Abuja. Over now to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has flagged off the airlifting of Christian pilgrims to Israel and Jordan from the Sam Bakwe International Cargo Airport in Owerri. Represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, the President praised Governor Hope Uzodinma's infrastructural strides and urged pilgrims to be patriotic on their spiritual journey. Global TV News correspondent Amarachi Ibe reports.
Sam Bakwe International Cargo Airport again played host to international flights as Christian pilgrims boarded for Israel and Jordan. Earlier this year, Muslim pilgrims has also been airlifted from the same airport, a development officials says underscores Imo's rising role in aviation. Speaking on behalf of President Tinubu, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, commended Imo's transformation and reminded the pilgrims of their duty to the country.
Aside from the spiritual well-being of the people, the governor has also embarked on infrastructural development across all senatorial zones, which is the first of its kind in the history of the state. It is important at this point to admonish the intending Christian pilgrims to show patriotism as they embark on this spiritual journey.
Governor Hope Uzodinma described the exercise as a reflection of Nigeria's steady progress under the current administration. He noted that with the bold reforms of Tinubu's administration, Nigeria is moving in the right direction and urged pilgrims to pray for peace.
With the bold reforms of the president, we are moving in the right direction. Our revenue is growing every day. So as you journey to the Holy Land, carry Nigeria in your heart. Pray for peace. Pray for prosperity. Pray for unity.
Representing the Abia State Governor, Alex Oti, Chief of Staff to the State Government, Caleb Ajebu, congratulated the pilgrims and encouraged them to make Nigeria proud.
Go out there and make Nigeria proud. Go out there and let them know that you are there to add value to your spiritual life, so that upon your return, people will be able to take note of the fact that glorious things are being spoken concerning you.
Supervising the airlift, the Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission expressed appreciation to the governor for his support and reminded pilgrims that their journey is primarily spiritual.
I want to thank most profusely the Executive Governor of Imo State, His Excellency Distinguished Senator Hope Uzodinma, CON, for his visionary leadership in Imo State. Our intending pilgrims should note that pilgrimage is not tourism. It is not a jamboree. Rather, it is a spiritual journey of faith, which is aimed at having an encounter with God.
With the symbolic flag off now complete, officials says the journey is not just about faith, but also about patriotism, unity, and continuous renewal of Nigeria's image abroad. From Sam Mbakwe International Airport, Amarachi Ibe reporting for Global TV News.
In the continuous implementation and assurance of city satellite infrastructure, the Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike has flagged off the construction of the Arsenal Road N20N, Lincoln Road Naira 5, Obafemi Awolowo Way to the Airport Expressway to boost infrastructure development within the nation's capital. Kabir Hassan tells us more.
The flag-off is part of the ongoing mid-year project of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, approved by the Federal Executive Council, FEC. The project was awarded to Gilmore Construction Company, and when completed, will connect the northern and the southern parts of the city, giving a quick exit from the city center. The Federal Capital Territory Minister, Nyesom Wike, says the project is part of the government commitment to develop satellite towns in the capital city.
Under the Living Hope agenda of Mr. President, we can see that the narrative has changed. I want to assure the residents of Abuja, by the grace of God, before the first tenure of Mr. President ends, Abuja will compete with most of the cities in the world.
Wike noted that the FCTA, in its efforts, will not leave any sector unattended, assuring that schools, healthcare, and other sectors will be worked on. The minister appealed to the youths and residents for cooperation, patience, and support to make the city center a better place.
I will continue to develop other areas, not only the city, but also the satellite towns. We have very massively started again to reconstruct most of the schools. Now we are also entering into the health sector. I have said that no sector will be left untouched. We will make sure every sector is given the attention that is required.
The FCT administration explained that the project will ensure seamless connectivity and enhance Abuja layman transit, as well as security and other infrastructure facilities, which is expected to be completed in 12 months. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News.
The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetogun, has described the late Solomon Arase as the architect of modern policing in Nigeria, and his reforms remain the foundation of today's police operations. Speaking at the night of tribute in Abuja, Egbetogun said Arase was more than just a police officer. He was an institution in himself, defined by intellect, discipline, and humanity. Kike Lomo Okere has details.
Tribute poured in for former Inspector General of Police, late Solomon Arase, as the Nigerian Police Force and past police chiefs gathered in Abuja to honor his legacy and service to the nation. At a solemn day of tribute, the current Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Egbetokun, described the late Arase as a rare blend of intellect, discipline, and humanism. He says Arase's death is not only a personal loss to his family, but also to the police institution and the nation at large.
As Cadet Assistant Inspector General of Police, his career became a lesson in resilience, in excellence, and in the dignity of duty.
Former IGPs describe Arase as loyal, committed, and the only officers in police history to have served as principal staff officer to 3 successive Inspector General of Police. He was remembered as a trustworthy colleague and friend, saying Arase's life of service to the nation remains unmatched.
We can say now of Solomon was a kind, was a generous, he was a compassionate officer.
Arase lived a good life. He started this country its best.
The politics of the police officer, all packaged in one person, Solomon Arase.
In the Nigerian police intelligence today would be grateful to Solomon Arase.
Solomon Arase was a man born with tools of leadership, chemistry of humility, and gift of deep knowledge.
Senator representing Edo Central Adams Oshomole described him as a patriotic reformer and scholar whose courage and intellect earned him national and international respect.
Yes, when it matters, Arase will listen. And he did listen. Even when I was in very difficult political environment, Arase was there. As a true, impartial police officer.
The late former Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, will be remembered as a shining light in the history of policing in Nigeria and a patriot who lived for justice, fairness, and peace. Kike Lomo Okere, Global Television News.
You are watching the live broadcast of AM News. When AM News returns, we'll stick to more stories right after the break. Stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is AM News on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, President Bola Tinubu has moved to restart oil production in Ogoni land in Rivers State. The president disclosed this when he confirmed postmortems national honors of commanders of the Order of the Niger (CON) on the late Ogoni for Albert Barde, Edward Kobani, Theophilus Orage, and Samuel Orage. Over now to Ramsey Enoch Agbo's report.
Conferring the honor at the presidential villa in Abuja, President Tinubu urged the Ogoni people to embrace reconciliation and unity after decades of division. He assured stakeholders that his administration would support Ogoni land's journey towards peace, environmental remediation, and economic revival, while also facilitating the return of oil exploration to the area. The president therefore directed the National Security Advisor, NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, to begin engagements between Ogoni communities, NNPCL, and other stakeholders to finalize modalities for restarting operations.
I'm encouraged by the overwhelming consensus of the Ogoni communities to welcome the resumption of oil production under new equitable terms, resourceful commitment. Government will deploy every resource to support the Ogoni people in this march towards shared prosperity.
Chairman of the Dialogue Committee, Don Baridam, and the Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, said the committee ensures that all stakeholders were carried along in the process, noting that the report reflects the collective will of the Ogoni people. He noted that the report captured the people's demands for structured participation in oil production, renewed environmental cleanup, and a framework for sustainable development.
They view renewed activity not as a return to the injustice of the past, but as an opportunity to reset relationships, accelerate remediations, and unlock economic inclusions. This consensus, Mr. President, is neither coerced nor conditional on empty promises.
Myself, standing as a governor, we will work together to make sure that this impulse that have existed for many years will be resolved finally. There is every sign that this government is serious about resolving these issues, and I think we need to give them all the necessary opportunity.
Earlier, the NSA, who presented the committee's report, said the consultation exercise engaged all 4 Ogoni zones with input from local communities, traditional leaders, and the diaspora.
The Ogoni people are not merely asking for tokenism, but for structured participation through equity, development, funds, employment, and institutional safeguards.
Oil exploration in Ogoni land has been suspended since 1993 following protests against environmental degradation, culminating in the execution of Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 other activists in 1995. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
The House of Representatives says it will ensure transparency and accountability in the federal government's Naira for crude oil policy. Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, made the pledge at the inauguration of an ad hoc committee to oversee the policy's implementation. On the foreign news now, the Democratic Republic of Congo is grappling with a new outbreak of Ebola, as health officials have confirmed 11 additional cases in Bolape Health Zone of Kasai Province. The outbreak remains concentrated in 6 health areas: Bambale, Palupe, Paluke Commensurate, Dikolo, Ngogo, and Mpaga. The outbreak has claimed 35 lives, including 25 confirmed and 10 probable cases, resulting in an overall case fatality ratio of 61.4%. Notably, 5 health workers are among the confirmed cases. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has arrived Washington, where he will be hosted by President Donald Trump at the White House. From defense to energy deals, Erdogan will be seeking to ink agreements with Trump worth tens of billions of United States dollars. The 2 leaders are also expected to discuss situations in the Middle East, including the war in Gaza. In Gaza, at least 43 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli military strikes on central and southern Gaza, including children among 11 dead in Zawarda after their family home was destroyed. Spain and Italy are deploying naval vessels after activists in the Fortalev seeking to break Israel's sea blockade of Gaza said some boats were attacked by drones south of Greece. A drone launched by Yemen's Houthi rebel wounded 22 people in the southern Israel city of Eilat in a rare breach of Israel's sophisticated missile defense systems. In sports stories now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has renewed Nigerians' bid to host the 2030 Commonwealth Games, describing the country as the gateway to Africa and stressing its readiness to make history as the first African host. The Games, marking the event's centenary since 1930, will see Nigeria compete with India, which has also submitted a bid with Ahmedabad as its host city. Tinubu urged the Commonwealth to recognize Africa's central place in the future of global sports, with Abuja proposed as Nigeria's host city. Nigeria's 65th independence celebration has taken a different swing this year with a golf tournament dedicated to honoring retired and serving officers of the Nigerian Army. This was made known by the chairman and local organizing committee, Dr. James Ohahise, to the media at a press conference ahead of the Special Independence Golf Tournament in Abuja. And that's it on AM News, and here's a recap of our top stories again. Brought to you that All Progressive Congress stakeholders from Kano State rose from a one-day crucial meeting with a resolve to support President Bola Tinubu's second-term bid. Vice President Kashim Shettima has enumerated steps to strengthen peace, development, and human rights across the globe. And in business, President Bola Tinubu has moved to restart oil production in Ogoni land in River State. And on the foreign news, the Democratic Republic of Congo is grappling with a new outbreak of Ebola as health officials have confirmed 11 additional cases in Bolupe Health Zone of Kassia Province. And finally, in sports, Nigeria's 65th independence celebration is taking a different swing this year with a golf tournament dedicated to honoring retired and serving officers of the Nigerian Army. Now, a quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @GlobalTVNG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Up next is Global Morning. Stay tuned.